Finally, ENTY confirms big bombshells that we all kind of knew. Meghan yachting ways, Meghan's client. And how expensive was she? But before we get into this, I have a sponsor. We have an exciting date with Dice Dreams, as well as working on my YouTube channel, helping me connect with all of you beautiful people. I also get to take breaks during the day to build my own kingdom with Dice Dreams. This really helps me relax and do something a little bit different than what I do all day, guys. I think this game is amazing and worth checking it out. I have been playing this game in my spare time, and it really helps me relax and unwind while I'm expanding my kingdom, which is really on point because this is a royal news channel and the game is very regal. You can play with your friends and have lots of fun. Okay, and all you have to do is start a romantic date with Dice Dreams by using my code in the link below or scan the QR code. I would greatly appreciate it if you play it. I highly recommend it. And do leave me in the comment section when you download the game so we can all play together. Once again, thanks to Dice Dreams for sponsoring this video. I love this game. So what are you waiting for? Get ready and let's go start playing together. You know that, I don't know if you know, well, you probably don't know because you're busy, but Pidina interviewed Kirby Summers. I don't know if you know her.
Yeah, I know Kirby.
Okay, she interviewed with Pidina and she was saying that she's absolutely convinced that Meghan Markle knew Epstein and she knew, Andrew very well, and Harvey Weinstein as well, because she presented so many connections. She even placed Meghan at that yacht in Thailand in 2002, but said that it's too bad that there's no pictures of it, you know. And then you posted a blind item about Harvey laughing about the wedding between Meghan and Harry.
No, I think that whenever, and you know, Kirby always, you know, I got her Substack, and you know, she's always like on top of everything and takes things to like things that I hadn't even thought about before. And I've been on Kirby's podcast and she's been on mine, and you know, Kirby's lived it, right? So she was around that time period and she knows all these players and everything. So I think that whenever you start talking about Soho House and you start talking about all the connections between Soho House and Epstein, I can't in my mind, and I'll have to listen to Kirby's, you know, thought process on it. I'm not sure that I can figure out a way to get Meghan and Epstein necessarily together. I can get Meghan and Harvey together. I could get Meghan and Andrew together maybe, but I'm because Andrew's got a huge history with Soho House. I'm just looking at the time period and I'll
tell you what she said. She said like that because the video that she did with Pidina was the very extreme links between Meghan and Epstein. And there's a particular girl from that Meghan Markle was on a yacht with that was one of Epstein's victims, right?
Yes.
And she was like, she's on the yacht there with her, and I wish Yarina something, Karina something is the girl. I think this is the lady's name. So she basically, the whole video was about the links. I mean, not even 6 degrees of separation. You know what I mean?
No, I mean they are close. And the only thing when I'm thinking just on the top of my head is that.
Oh, and also, sorry to interrupt you. Also, okay. Because Virginia Roberts. And this is all over the world, the articles. Virginia Roberts, a lawyer, wanted to cite Meghan Markle as a witness because, and they said she had intimate knowledge because she had been around Andrew. She would have seen things.
I can definitely.
Did you read that article?
No, I haven't read the article, but this is how I can get her to Andrew. Okay. I can't make the next step without like looking at it, but I can get her to Andrew because Andrew and Soho House are like entwined, right? Andrew was a very frequent visitor to Soho House. Meghan Markle used Soho House as her base. Meghan Markle was, you know, hanging out with the procurer for the Soho House and stuff like that. So I can easily do that. My issue becomes at some point is that knowing as much as I've investigated and looked into Meghan Markle, she hasn't spent that much time in New York. And
Meghan?
like in no, I mean now, yes, but I'm talking about when
No,
Epstein,
before she spent a lot of time in New York. Oof, there's even pictures of her in 2013. Oh, that's the one
I got that. No, I'm talking about like 2007, 8, when you're talking about the, when Epstein, because Epstein, was using New York, and then he, used Florida more as a base. And I'm trying to put it together in my mind and what Meghan was doing at that time. And I feel like, just off the top of my head, I've got Meghan and Andrew together all the time. What was the connection other than the one woman? Do you remember?
No, here, this is what the lawyer, I have it here. It says, this is what Virginia drew for lawyers. She's somebody we can count on to tell the truth, Mr. Boyce said. He also believed that she might have picked up some important knowledge around the royals' behavior. He's talking about Andrew, right? Yeah. He said Miss Markle was a close companion to Prince Andrew, and therefore probably saw what he did. The only way she would have been able to see what Andrew did, because he was always with Epstein, when he was around Epstein. He also cited 3 reasons for Miss Markle to be a potential deposition subject. 1, she's in the U.S., so we have jurisdiction over her. 2, she is somebody who obviously, at least for a period of time, was a close associate of Prince Andrew, and hence is in a position to perhaps have seen what he did. Let's not forget what Virginia was accusing him of.
No, 100%.
And perhaps, if not to have seen what he did, to have heard people talk about it, because of her past association with him, she may very well have important knowledge, and will certainly have some knowledge. 3, she's somebody who we can count on to tell the truth. That he got wrong.
I 100%, 1,000%, 6,000,000% think that Meghan and Andrew have crossed paths numerous times. Perhaps have hooked up, but definitely have crossed paths numerous times. Meghan is too close of a friends with Marcus Anderson. Okay. I mean, just everything, right? That is where Meghan, went to try and climb the ladder. So I have no doubts. And Prince Andrew used to go to Soho House all the time. So I have no doubts. The only thing that I would have to dig into more is that I'm trying to figure out.
Don't forget that Andrew stayed with Jeffrey every time he went.
No, I know he did. I know he did. But we also, because of all the depositions that we've had taken of a lot of Epstein's victims and things like that, I've read them all. I've talked about them. I've read them. I've never seen her name come up in a deposition related to Epstein. Even in Virginia's, the Sarah Kellens or whatever, I've never seen her name come up. Now, we've never had Prince Andrew deposed, and I would like to, wonder about that. We had Tom Bauer or whatever talk about Andrew and Meghan. I don't know if we've ever had, I don't remember that Tom Bauer ever said about Meghan and Epstein.
I think she was too much of a nobody. Maybe he wasn't her type, but she was around that environment,
She's around that environment. I mean, everybody, I can put Meghan with Weinstein. I could put Meghan with Andrew. Tom Bauer's put Meghan with Andrew. I don't remember that Tom Bauer ever put Meghan with Epstein. See, that's the thing. I can't, at least in my research and at least off the top of my head, I can't figure out how that kind of happened. She would be the right age, honestly, if you're looking at. No, she'd actually still be.
She's been to Florida.
She's been to Florida. Like I said, I can see her with Andrew, and I've always thought about that the first time that Harry brought Meghan to meet Andrew, what his reaction on his face would have been. That kind of, and she certainly was working the Soho House in London very, very hard. And
people said that they didn't understand where she got the money to fly first class all over the place when she was working in Suits, because she wasn't the main character. She wasn't getting paid $50,000 per episode like people thought she was. And they didn't understand how she was always flying to these places first class, like in Middle East and stuff like that, and nobody got it.
I have talked about Meghan and Soho House and Meghan being a yachter. And if you go back and just look at some of the depositions from like the people that were Epstein victims, he would often fly them places. Except for let's just talk about it for a second. So if they went to, let's say, the Virgin Islands with him or whatever, they would fly on his jet and stuff. If they were flying, let's say he was paying for them to go home for a couple of weeks or something, they never flew first class in that kind of situation. If you look at the depositions, whenever they would fly first class, they would always be, yeah, I got this assignment and I was, they paid first class and stuff like that. Epstein would pay people to go back, but if you look, he often promised people money and stuff, and he was he'd give like, oh, here's a couple of $100, here's $300. He wasn't shelling out for first class. The people that were shelling out for first class were who they would go to meet. So like if Meghan went to go meet somebody first class or whatever, it wasn't like Epstein paying for it. It was somebody else who wanted to spend a week with her or a weekend with her or something like that when she was yachting. And I have no doubts that those things were brokered by, Marcus and some other people. So I just, like I said, I can get her to a lot of people in my head. I honestly also don't think that Epstein was used to paying people $200 and $300, right? He wasn't used to. I think that Meghan charged more than that. I think that honestly,
you think so? You think so? Remember, she was a nobody.
She was a nobody, but I still think that when she might have, when she was in LA, just on her own, maybe lower kind of, oh, I'll just take you to dinner, or here's some, taxi money or whatever. Here's a few $100 to help you, kind of thing. And then, when she hooks up with Marcus Anderson and all the Soho House people, that takes her into a whole different kind of ball game. And if you can say to somebody, oh, you're going to get to sleep with somebody who was on Deal or No Deal, one of the briefcase models, you're going to pay more than Epstein was willing to pay. And honestly, you're going to pay more than what Andrew was probably willing to pay. I'm not saying that she and Andrew didn't hook up or whatever, because that would have been her dream to hook up with somebody with royalty.
Your friend got $10,000.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, I think that Meghan was probably first class and like $25,000 for the weekend or $10,000 for the weekend or something. Epstein wasn't going to pay that. Epstein had too many people that he could pay $200 or $300 to. I think that, yeah,